All right, listener name. So you know how we're always diving into these money-making ideas online?
Hmm.
Well, this one you sent over, this is a wild one, even for us. It's all about Fiverr,
Right.
but not the way you'd think, like not selling your own skills.
Like,
Yeah. This YouTuber, Dave Nick, he claims you can make bank on Fiverr without having any actual skills.
without any skills, that's a
Oh,
bold claim.
right? It was like, is this guy for real? But here's the thing. His strategy, and he calls it digital drop servicing, it's surprisingly in
Oh,
depth.
interesting.
Yeah, and we dug up some extra data too, similar web, Fivalytics, to see if this thing holds water.
Okay, so what's the catch? What's he actually doing?
Okay, so imagine the drop shipping model, right? But instead of products, it's services. He's like a digital middleman.
Oh, so he's connecting clients who need a service with people who can actually do it.
Bingo. Like, so you need a logo design. He'd find a designer, take a cut, and boom.
Okay, but where does the no skills part come in?
Yeah.
I mean, you still need some knowledge to navigate that world.
Totally. And Dave knows that, which is why he's big on finding what he calls the sweet spot gigs with low competition, but a decent price tag.
Smart. So what's he avoiding? What's the example he gave?
He said, steer clear of logo design.
Really? Why is that?
Well, according to Fivalytics, there are, get this, over 174,000 people offering logo design services on Fiverr. It's a jungle out there.
Wow, yeah, you definitely don't want to get lost in that crowd.
Exactly. And that's where Dave's approach gets even more interesting. He's all about understanding Fiverr's fees.
Right, because Fiverr takes a cut, don't they? How much is it?
20%. So to make this whole thing work, you need to find freelancers on other platforms willing to work for less than what your Fiverr clients are paying.
Ah, I see where he's going with this. It's all about that arbitrage, finding those price discrepancies.
You got it. So did he find a gig that fit this sweet spot?
He did.
Spill the tea.
He landed on lyric and music video creation.
Wait, hold on. Lyric and music video, isn't that a little specialized?
You'd think, right. But that's the beauty of his strategy. He doesn't need to be a musician, a songwriter, or a video editor. Fivalytics shows there's less competition, like only around 7,000 gigs, but the average price is still pretty good, around $38.
Okay, I get that part, but now I'm really lost. How do you deliver a music video if you don't know the first thing about making one?
That's where it gets interesting, and that's where these other platforms he mentioned come in. People per hour, Upwork, even freelancer.com, places where you can find people willing to create those music videos, but at a lower price than what he's charging on Fiverr.
Hold on, so he's finding someone else to do the actual work and taking a cut.
Essentially, yeah. He's leveraging those price differences between platforms.
Isn't that bad? I don't know.
Yeah, we're definitely going to circle back to that. There are some ethical considerations here for sure. But for now, let's stick with just the nuts and bolts of how Dave's doing this.
Okay, so let's say you found your niche, you're ready to set up shop. How do you even get clients on Fiverr? It's a big marketplace. How do you stand out?
That's where Dave compares creating a Fiverr gig to designing a YouTube thumbnail.
Wait, really?
Oh, yeah. It's all about grabbing attention. He's big on keyword research, compelling descriptions. He even uses Canva, which is free, by the way, to create eye-catching gig images.
It's like they say, presentation is everything, even in the digital world.
Absolutely. Dave says a well-designed gig can be the difference between getting lost in the noise or actually getting those clients.
Okay, so walk me through this. Give me an example.
So he actually breaks down his whole process using Instagram content creation and management.
Oh, interesting. How many gigs are out there for that?
Over 1,000 active gigs.
Wow, and what's the average price?
$58. Not bad, right?
Not bad at all. But how does he make his gigs stand out in that crowd?
This is where he gets really strategic. He uses tools like Fivalytics to see what keywords people are actually searching for. Yeah. And he looks at the top performing gigs in that niche, analyzes their titles, their descriptions, how they're pricing things. He leaves no stone unturned. And he's big on this thing. It's called tiered pricing.
Okay, tiered pricing, like different levels of service.
Exactly. Like he might offer a basic package for like $5 just to get people in the door.
Right. Gonna have that low cost option.
Exactly. But then, boom, he's got the standard package, maybe $80, throws in some extras, then the premium, $300, the whole 9 yards.
It's like when you go to the ice cream shop, right?
Yeah.
Suddenly that single scoop doesn't seem so great when you see the triple scoop sundae with all the toppings.
Exactly. It's all about presenting those options, appealing to different budgets, maximizing those earnings.
Smart. So he's got his niche, he's got the pricing down, but what about the actual gig description?
Oh, that's huge. Dave spends a lot of time on that. making it detailed but also keyword rich.
Keyword rich, so people can actually find it when they're searching on Fiverr.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he makes sure it highlights the benefits, answers potential questions up front. He even suggests adding an FAQ section.
So he's basically treating his Fiverr gig like a mini website.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Optimizing it for the algorithm, but also for actual humans.
Smart.
And don't forget, we got to talk about the Canva trick.
Oh, right, for those gig images.
He actually shows you, step by step, how to use templates, add text, even throw in a headshot to make it personal.
Which is huge, right? Even in the online world, people want to see a face.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yields trust.
Okay, so we've covered finding the niche, setting up the gig, pricing, the whole shebang. But here's the million-dollar question. How is he actually delivering these services if he doesn't have the skills?
That's where it gets really interesting. He's all about outsourcing.
Outsourcing, meaning?
Finding other people to do the work.
Okay, but where does he find these people?
He uses those other platforms we talked about, People Per Hour, Upwork, Truelancer. He finds freelancers who offer similar services, but at a lower price point.
So he's acting as the middleman, basically.
Yep, connecting the client on Fiverr with the freelancer who's doing the actual work.
And pocketing the difference.
You got it. But he stresses it's not just about finding the cheapest option.
Right. Got to make sure the quality is there.
Exactly. You need to vet these freelancers, check their reviews, portfolio, the whole 9 yards.
Because ultimately, if the work is bad, it's your reputation on the line.
Exactly. Now, he also talks about a more, I guess you could say, proactive approach.
Oh, yeah.
Using Upwork's job posting feature.
So instead of him searching for freelancers, they come to him.
Exactly. He puts up a detailed job post, outlines the service he needs, and freelancers can bid on it.
So it's like a bidding war.
Kinda, yeah. And that drives down the price, which means more profit for him.
Whoa, that's pretty smart.
Right. And it doesn't even stop there. He's big on negotiation, too.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He says reach out to those freelancers directly. See if you can get an even lower rate, especially if you can promise them more work down the line.
Talk about a hustler. So to be clear, this whole Fiverr without skills thing, it all comes down to finding that niche, making that gig stand out, and then passing the work off to someone else.
Pretty much.
Clever. Got to give him that. But we still haven't really addressed that ethical dilemma we talked about.
Oh, yeah.
Is it okay to be reselling someone else's work like that and taking a profit? It seems a little, I don't know, is that shady?
It's a gray area, for sure. Some people might not have a problem with it as long as you're delivering good work, but others might see it as, yeah, a little deceptive.
Especially if you're not upfront with your clients about how it all works.
Exactly. And then there's the other side of it, too. What about the freelancers? Are they getting a fair shake?
Yeah, are you paying them enough, even if it's less than what you're charging?
Right. And are you being upfront with them about how you're using their work? Those are all important things to consider.
It's all about transparency, I guess.
Transparency is key.
But Dave doesn't stop there. He's got one more trick up his sleeve, and it involves a platform we all know and love, YouTube.
YouTube, everyone's favorite video platform. What's he doing on YouTube?
Well, he suggests creating content that's related to the services you're selling on Fiverr.
Okay, so give me an example.
Say you're selling Instagram marketing services on Fiverr. He says, create YouTube videos with tips and tricks for growing your Instagram following.
Okay, so you're attracting the right audience, people who are already interested in that kind of thing.
Exactly. And then somewhere in those videos, you subtly plug your Fiverr gig.
Ah, I see where you're going with this. Hey, if you need help with your Instagram, check out my Fiverr gig, link in the description.
Bingo.
And the beauty of YouTube is you don't even have to show your face if you don't want to.
Right, you could do those screen share videos, presentations, whatever you're comfortable with.
Exactly.
So I know what you're thinking, does this actually work? Can you really drive traffic to Fiverr from YouTube? Well, Dave makes a pretty compelling case. Think about it. A video with hundreds of thousands of views, those are all potential clients. Even if a tiny percentage click that link, that's still a massive boost in visibility.
It's true. I mean, we've seen it work for other businesses.
Right. So it's all about leveraging these platforms, using them to your advantage.
Yep.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. Finding a niche, creating the gig, outsourcing the work, even using YouTube to drive traffic. But we need to address the elephant in the room. Is this whole Fiverr without skills thing, is it really sustainable? I mean, it's cool finding cheap freelancers, but what happens when their rates go up? Or they decide to just do it themselves?
That's the million-dollar question. It's definitely something to think about. I mean, Dave's whole strategy hinges on these other platforms, right?
Right,
So you got
right.
to build those relationships, find freelancers you can rely on, especially if you want to turn this into a real business, not just a side hustle.
Then what about the quality? You're relying on someone else, so if the client's not happy.
Oof, yeah, quality control is huge. It's like, imagine you're conducting an orchestra. You might not play every instrument, but you're responsible for how it all sounds together. Same idea here. You need systems in place, even if you're not the one doing the actual work.
So it's a lot about communication then, making sure everyone's on the same page.
Big time. Client, freelancer, you're the bridge between them. And that bridge better be sturdy.
Love the analogy. So, listener name, we've gone deep on this Fiverr without skills thing. The good, the bad, the potentially lucrative. What's the verdict? Can you actually outsource your way to success on Fiverr without any skills? What do you think?
It's not a simple yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
I think what Dave's showing us is that there are opportunities out there in this online world. These platforms, they give us options,
Yeah.
right? You can connect with talented people, build something real, but
There's always a but.
there is. It's not a magic button. It takes work, just like any business. You got to hustle, adapt, and you really got to think about those ethical questions we talked about.
Couldn't agree more. Transparency, fairness, quality work, those matter no matter what.
100%. And, thinking about it all, it makes you wonder, even though Dave's all about using other people's skills, maybe it's a chance to develop your own, too.
How interesting. How so?
Well, instead of just being the middleman, you're learning about this field, right? Maybe you start with no skills, but then, boom, you're the one with the skills.
Turning the side hustle into the main event.
Exactly.
That's pretty inspiring.
It's like that saying, give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach a man to fish.
Feed him for a lifetime.
Exactly.
I love it. So, listener name, if you're thinking about this whole Fiverr without skills thing, remember, it's not just about making a quick buck. It's about exploring, being creative, maybe even finding some hidden talents along the way.
And, hey, who knows? Maybe one day you'll be the one making those YouTube videos, sharing your expertise with the world.
And we'll be here to watch. All right, listener name, thanks for taking this deep dive with us. Until next time.